Hi, how are you? This is Devin Vasco, and welcome to this space. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to talk about the Homeschool Mom's Self-Care Plan, and hopefully we can come up with a plan on how to take care of ourselves better so that we can be better professional home educators. I am Devin. I am a homeschool mama of 5. I have one boy who is 18 and graduated last year. He is a cutie. And then I have 4 girls who are Juliana, who's 16, Gabriella, who's 13, Olivia, who's 11, and then a 4-year-old who is my surprise. She was a huge surprise. Um, in fact, after I found out I was pregnant, I cried for weeks because I was going to have to teach phonics again. But it's okay. They learn. It gets over. It was just one of those funny hormone things. And she is just the cherry on top of our Sunday. She's just awesome, just the most cutest, happiest baby ever. So anyway, we're going to talk today about the Homeschool Mom Self-Care Plan and what it means for us and how we apply this to us, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, what is self-care and what is it not? Now, I'm a little passionate about this. Self-care is not me time. Me time has never been a huge love of mine, and the reason being is because oftentimes in the world, when you hear people talk about it, it is with the negative connotation that they're running away from their family. Self-care is not running away from your family. I would never suggest that, ever. We are home educators. We love our family. We're trying to do the best. And I don't think mamas who are talking about me time are necessarily not wanting to be in the family. It's just a lot of times it looks negative. So they can contain the same things. They both have a place in our life. Nothing's wrong with having some me time. But I don't want you to confuse it with self-care. Self-care is a necessary action to care for our whole self. It is not usually a quick fix. It's not something where you can run off and spend a night hanging out with your girls and you're going to come back and be 100%. Self-care is long-term care. We are intentionally caring for our health and our whole self. So don't confuse the two or allow guilt, because a lot of times mamas will not go and do me time or self-care because they feel like they're guilty or they feel like that they're not important. You are very, very important. So I want y'all to throw out that idea that it's me time. Self-care is caring for your body. So self-care is not me time. We're not talking about that today. So what are some aspects of self-care? We are parts of a whole. We're not just what we see. I know I look cute, but this is not just me. I have a physical body, which is very, very important because that's the house we live in. But then we have a spiritual self. We have a mental self. We have our emotions. We have our social self. And we have financial health. I have now added that in there because our financial issues can affect everything else. So I'm going to give you some examples. Obviously, physical is really easy to come up with. But what are some things that we might need if we're doing a plan and planning to fix some physical self, our physical self? It could be our weight. Some people are not overweight. That does not necessarily mean that they are a healthy skinny. Being healthy, someone could seem to be overweight and be healthier than someone who's very skinny. Our physical health is important. It's your blood pressure. It's your, if you have sugar issues, I'm diabetic now. It can be adrenal fatigue. I have adrenal fatigue. It can be several, I mean, if you have an autoimmune disease, it can be several things physical that you might need to work. Spiritual, maybe you're not in a good place with your relationship with God, or your lack of relationship with God, or, if you're not Christian and you happen to hear this workshop, and you have some other spiritual belief. It's whatever works to make that part of your body work. Your mental, maybe you're not in a good headspace. Maybe your thought paths are not good. Maybe you're very negative in your self-talk. Maybe you're dealing with depression. Maybe you're dealing with chemical imbalances, which can happen. These are things mental that can affect your self-care that you may need to work on. Emotional, maybe you're dealing with some emotions and some past hurts, or maybe you're dealing with some rejection. There are things that you can fix in your emotion. Maybe with social, maybe you don't have a healthy set of friends that you need. Maybe you don't have a support system. So that's something you can work on. And then financial, that's a new one that I've added lately, because I have realized that financial burdens and debt can affect these other things. And so I do think that it has a place in this subject. So they all work together. Sometimes you can work on different aspects of this, and you can find another one that complements it, such as financial can, if you're having trouble with your finances, you could have some mental issues because you're doing negative self-talk, you're feeling depressed, and the financial, they all can run together. So those are things to look for. Why do we need self-care? Bottom line is, our lack of self-care affects our whole body. Motherhood is a ministry. If we are not able to care effectively for ourselves, we cannot pour into our children. If we are exhausted, I've dealt with adrenal fatigue. I was diagnosed 2.5 years ago. I was yelling at my children, and it was not my usual. I would sit there and think, what am I doing? Why am I yelling? And I actually thought I was going into menopause. So I went in, had a hormone test thinking I was in menopause, and I wasn't. My adrenals were not putting out the hormones they needed. So hormones are very, very active in your body, and you have to have them in balance. So I had to give myself permission to sleep and to rest. When the baby napped, I napped. And I did not feel guilty for that, because I was trying to heal my body so that I could give my children a happy mother. Because if mama's not happy, then we can't effectively work with our children. So happy, healthy mamas raise happy, healthy children. We're vitally important to the success, got it out, of our homeschool. And we have to work on healing our body. So self-care is very important. And I do not want you to feel like you are not important. And I don't want you to feel guilty for needing to care for yourself. Because when you care for yourself, you take care of yourself, and you begin to care for yourself, then your children see that, and they begin to take their bodies as important, and it continues on. So here's some Bible verses on self-care. I always go back to the Word to look to see how I can apply this to my life. 1 Kings 19:7, the second part says, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." This was the angel of God talking to Elijah. Elijah was in the desert. He was going to have to go somewhere. And the angel came to him twice and says, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." There is a scripture verse that talks about Esau talking to, what did he change his name to? Okay, Israel, about not moving so fast because the children couldn't move so fast. Mark 6:31, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get rest." Jesus was taking the disciples somewhere to rest. John 3:1-2, "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Your body, when you are not in good health, everything affects everything else. You are not able to care for your children. You're not able to care for your home. Self-care is vitally important. So here's some self-care quotes, because I like to put quotes, I like to put scripture verse up. Rest and self-care is so important. When you take time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. That's Eleanor Brown. I believe that the greatest gift you can give your family and the world is a healthy you. Joyce Myers. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Katie Reed. You are important, and you need to see that you are important, because you cannot pour into your children, into your home, into your life, into your neighbor, into your world if you are exhausted. So, how do we add self-care into our day? The first step is to realize that you're going to have to look and see what's wrong. Make a list of every self-care issue you have. For me, I am considered overweight, and while someone else in the world may look at me and say, oh, you're not that much, you're okay, you're so cute, I know it affects my health. I'm diabetic, I have high blood pressure, I have high cholesterol. This affects my body. So for me, exercise and diet is high on my list. I fell off the wagon this year. I have to get back on the wagon. I'm not even going to go into diet plans. There's plenty out there. You can research it and find which one you like the best for you. I know what works best for my diabetes. Not always the most fun diet, but since you have to stop, don't use that word diet. Let's not use that one. Let's use lifestyle change, eating change, lifestyle. We choose a fun, manageable way to eat and do in moderation. So that's for me. That is a major component of what I have to do myself this year. Another thing is possibly financial. Say your husband's job went kaput and you have to find a way to help support your family. This causes a major amount of stress. Finding a plan, talk to some moms. Maybe you can find somebody who's really good at that and they can help you see some ways that you can generate some income. Don't allow your list to overwhelm you. You don't have to do everything at one time. That is not even reasonable. What you do is you make a list. You make a list, maybe one or two in this one or two in that one. Make a list, but understand that you're not going to do all of this in one day. It's okay to know that it's not a quick fix and that you can't do it all today. 1, 2 things at a time is fine. Now, you're going to take that list and you're going to itemize it. Which one is the most important? For me, it's physical. I need my body to work. I have a 4-year-old. I will be 60 when she's 15. 60. I'm that old. I have to be healthy so that my body can run. I can run with her and be healthy with her and last as long as possible for her, because I am an older mother. So you make a priority of your list and prioritize. That's the word. I never say the right words. I start chasing rabbits. So it's important. You make your list. Now you're going to choose just 1 or 2 things at a time. Research says that to develop a new habit, let's see, did I put that on it? To develop a new habit, when you're developing a new habit, after you identify what you're going to change, it will take you over 2 months to make that habit automatic. So whatever you're doing, you understand that it's going to take you 2 months before you can even allow yourself to say you're successful or not. When I started, I'll tell you how I got that 4-year-old. I did a diet, you'll probably know it, called Trim Healthy Mama. I lost 42 pounds at that time. I got very healthy, lost weight, and I had the surprise 4-year-old. So When I went into that diet, I said to myself, I'm giving it 3 months. I'm not going to even allow myself to decide this is not working until I've hit 3 months. And lo and behold, by the time I hit that, I'd lost 15 pounds. Now, I still went through for the rest of the year. It took the rest of the year, a whole year to lose the 42. But at that point, then I was able to say, hey, this is working. When you add something in, know that 2 months is not a long time. It's gone like that. Don't let your brain make you think this is such a huge amount of time. It takes 2 months before you change that habit. Go on Pinterest, Google that habit and how to change it. There are plans out there, people who make plans. Do your research. Find this over here, find that over there. Use the internets. Make a plan. Plan for success. One thing I've learned with diet, if I don't have a plan, and even plan dessert so that I have things to feel like I feel like I have treats, you're only going to fail. Sidestep that failure. Have a plan. Chart it out. Give yourself treats. Go through, not bad treats. So I'm just using diet as there's other ones you can use. So go day by day and make your out of chat. Put it up. Make it fun. Involve the kids. They see you accomplishing something hard, then they're going to do it and say, hey, I can do this. So identify what you want to do. Only do 1 or 2 at a time. If it's a big one, like something like for me, starting to exercise is a big one, don't start any other ones. Just do that one. If it's a little one, say you want to journal every day so that you can get in a better mind, to renew your mind, then you could add something else into that. So you judge that, but don't overwhelm yourself. If you take a little bit over 2 months to make, and you have it, and you continue to do that, by the end of the year, you've added probably 4 new habits. That's 4 changes for the better for your health and for your whole self and getting into a better place. And finally, my big thing is to give yourself grace. No one has all the answers the first day they start something. No one expects you to have the answers. No one expects you to know everything perfectly. If you decide to go, you're going to run, you're going to be a runner, you're going to do a marathon, you can't do that marathon that first day. You time it out and take time. You enjoy the process. Whatever you do, enjoy it. Own it, smile, have fun. Hard things can be fun. They can be enjoyable. So you give yourself grace. You realize it's going to take you time, and you make that self-care habit. So, oh, I missed one. So that is how we establish a new habit. So I'm going to go back a couple of slides to our list. So try to match them. Physical, it can be your health, it can be weight, it can be, I did doctor's appointments, and it was a good thing. When I started this, I had not been to the doctor in almost 2 years for anything. I set all my appointments up, and it was a good thing because I actually had almost like a health scare. They thought I was having some issues and sent me for a second mammogram. Ended up being fine, but if I had left it alone, it might not have been. So doctor's appointments are definitely a major thing. That's a very easy thing to add in. I went and handled all that. Making sure your eyes are taken care of. Don't get your hair cut. That is physical, and it can actually affect you with your mental and your emotional. Schedule some me time in there. There's no shame in going and meeting up with the girls. That can be a quick boost. So that is how we do our self-care, and that is how you write a plan. And I hope that you enjoyed your time with me today, and I hope that you have some ideas on how to add this into your life and to add this into your day. And it was a pleasure to talk to you. And if you ever need me, let me know because you are very important, Mama.